Fernandez over the ball. Richards gets a touch to it, but she's within inside the restricted 5 metres for a player taking a free hit, so Fernandez will get it again.
Interesting that Sarah McCambridge is already matching up against one of the younger players in the Diamondbacks team, and Sophie Krumik. It'd be interesting to see how that plays out the whole game, whether Emily Donovan swaps with her at any point or Maddie Brooks swaps with her at any point. Because I think last year that was tended to be what happened. The key players would match up against each other, which is why it was such a close game. But we'll see how that progresses throughout. That's a horrible tackle from Emily Donovan.
So do you think that choice would be a run with role from Coach Rowan Bridley to give Sophie Krumink a bit of an insight into how to play that midfield role?
Potentially. I don't think Rowan would have deliberately stuck Sophie on her. I think that might just be, at the moment, kind of just how it's fallen in the first few minutes. I reckon if Sarah starts to get a lot of the ball, I think that could change fairly quickly. It's interesting that Philly Bridley's starting up front as well. We could see Philly and Emily Donovan switch around quite a lot this game. That's tended to be what they did a lot last year. Maddie Brooks looks like she's more... Oh, she's been blown against, okay. I thought that was going to be her free on the edge there. But.
And Maddie Brooks playing a bit more of a wider role, which she did quite a fair bit last year too. Interesting move there from Sarah and Sam McCambridge, coaching pair for OHA, trying to use someone who has traditionally played more through the middle, definitely someone who's been seen as a central midfielder, playing more of an attacking, wider option down the left.
Yeah, she's definitely someone that has massive ball carrying impact on the game. I think players like Maddie and Sarah McCambridge will be people they want to get against matching up against weaker defenders, so that's probably why they've done it. Majority of the teams in the comp have their stronger players playing at positions like fullback. It's a really good pick up on the reverse from Sophie Shirley there, who's a new player for Diamondbacks coming down from Queensland, and she's won the free as well.
So Donovan now attacking down the right hand side inside the 23. Good intercept there from Taylor Brooks. She's used her sister down the left. Fortunately, she's hasn't quite won it out that way, and Diamondbacks have a turnover. Interesting to see Josie Short playing that fullback role too. We know Diamondbacks are just a little bit light on for their defensive set. or reasonably young for their defensive grouping. And Josie was playing more of a forward role last year, so it's interesting to see a young player step up and be given that central defensive role, paired alongside Nicole Jeeves, of course, who is probably one of the greatest players who have ever played senior hockey in Tasmania.
Yeah, that's an interesting one though. I didn't expect Josie to be playing that position. I'm assuming that's something that they've been preparing for most of pre-season. Oh wow, in here, Hannah Richards is in if the ball goes quickly. Good turn in the D, but they really good tackle. Really good tackle from Josie in the end. Ball just goes through past Julie again, stick.
Impressive work there from Sarah Wilson-Heffernan too to set up Hannah Richards in the circle, and Josie Short coming into the game with an important interception there. So Krumink coming out of right half. Good ball down the line. Gunn doesn't quite bring it under control, but it hits the foot of Giselle Fernandez at left half for Diamondbacks. Or actually, being told to take it back.
It was Philly.
McDonald
Ooh.
into Bridley again. Raised ball. Bridley will take the free hit.
It's a nice ball, but Georgie Carter will be across to clear that up. She'll probably play a big role this year, I'd imagine, considering Jean Flanagan has obviously stepped out of the team, moving away from Tassie. So I reckon she'll probably play alongside Belle Krumick at the back, similar to what Jean used to do, and similar to how Nicole Jeeves is playing at the moment and stepping in front and cleaning up in front of the OHA forwards.
Jean Flanagan's, of course, left big boots to fill. Captain of their premiership winning side. Here's Emily Donovan making another attack down the right hand side. Excellent tackle from Belle Krumick there. Lovely little touch outside the circle. Doesn't give away a free hit. Perfect.
Really good tackle. She's the type of player that really could step up this year. I've been selected in the under-18s state squad that's about to go away in April. I say go away, go up to Launceston in April.
So a fairly even start. OHA have probably had the better of the circle entries, but most of the players being relatively shared between the two sides. No one's really looked to take any ascendancy so far in the match. We're about 7 or 8 minutes in to this first quarter. We've seen a couple of games already in round one. Derwent and Canterbury men and women played last night. We saw the first half in both of those games. It was relatively scratchy as players. Just coming out in the first half of the season and blowing the cobwebs out. Took them a little bit of time to get into it, and once the second half rolled around, I think most players were ready and picked up the pace. So no real surprises. This game hasn't necessarily had too many clear openings, but as we say that, turning into the circle is Lauren Smith. Again, good defensive clearance, and OHA actually have a chance for a counter-attack here.
Oh, Hannah Richards was on there. Julia Gunn manages to win the free though. Thought she was just going to slip it through to Hannah Richards.
Gunn was a big goal scorer for OHA last year. She scored 12 in the regular season. She's going to be another important factor for OHA this season. Looking at their forward line as Sophie McLeod makes an attack.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think that's no.
Bit lucky to get away with that one.
Yeah, I think that looked like they hit her foot before the OHA foul.
So Jeeves out of defence. Onto Wilson Haffenden. Play on, says the umpire. Wilson Haffenden tries to make the circle entry. She wins the free hit just outside. Madison Brooks takes it early, puts it to the spot. Cammy Vaughan makes one clearance, sits on the ball, scramble along the goal line. Yeah, OHA win a penalty corner.
It's really good goalkeeping though from Cammy Vaughan. Sometimes you kind of have to concede the corner in that situation. She's stopped the goal, which is the main thing, but it's really, really good goalkeeping and a bit of help from the defenders behind her, I imagine, as well.
She's a very promising young goalkeeper too. Had a fantastic 2020 season and a really strong grand final too.
Yeah.
So looking forward to seeing her take another step up this year.
Yeah, it looks like she got a little bit of help from Ella Beresford just behind her. Be interesting whether this corner goes. Belkrimic usually would head off the top. It is, but it's a little bit messy. Good rebound though. 2 good rebounds off the post. Great! Oh, what a save!
And fantastic work from Camilla Vaughan in the Diamondbacks net. We were just singing her praises a second ago, and I think there you go, 4 saves in a row. OHA will be ruining their missed chances, but fantastic work by the Diamondbacks goalkeeper.
That was a cracking save. Really, 3 or 4 reactions to quick shots. Sometimes they're the ones that goalkeepers find easier because they don't have to think about them. That's the corner again, it looks like. Yep.
Well done from Madison Brooks to create that. It's always easy for the goalkeepers to make that first save. The difficulty comes in making the second and then the third. And I think we saw the value of having a keeper who's got agility to be able to get up and down really quickly and move quickly to make that second save, just how valuable that can be in those situations. Because by all rights, OHA should have had a goal from that setup, and all of a sudden it's still 0-0.
Little miss trap at the top, but they've worked it around the one runner. Another really good save. And again, and just over the top from Maddie Brooks. Cammy Vaughan is keeping Diamondbacks in the game here. You get the sense that if they don't score with this sort of bout of pressure, then Diamondbacks might just go down the other end and sneak a goal.
And just looking back on last year too, was a feature of Diamondbacks play was they were able to soak up, for quite extended periods of time as well, quite a fair bit of pressure from the opposition.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they were able to rebound because the defence was so strong, or was able to survive those extended moments. They were able to counter and then get momentum back and capitalise, which is kind of what took them all the way to the grand final and nearly won it as well. But again, an important period of play there for them to keep OHA out and stay in the game.
And they've done what they used to do in that situation last year. They put Emily Donovan up front, and Philly Bridley's moved back into midfield, but Sarah McCambridge it's ball carrying now and passes on to Maddie Brooks. Really good ball, really good opportunity for Hannah Richardson. It looked like a foul from Nicole Jeeves, but play on, says the umpire.
Cambridge wins it back again, puts the cross, but it was dangerous. OHA looked good in their approach play. The passing just in that final third looks relatively clean. Some of their ball running is pretty nice, especially from Madison Brooks and Sarah McCambridge. Just unable to connect in front of goals, outside of the penalty corners, of course. Their general play and general attack just have been unable to really find a target inside that circle. Excellent work from Maddie Clark there to win the ball back. She's got Donovan there, but I think that's Georgie Carter has stepped in front and got the intercept, and OHA win the ball back.
It's good defending from Fernandez there, and she should get the free. Yeah.
Fernandez will be an interesting one to watch this season. Her development, she's now holding down a regular starting spot in this Diamondbacks team. She's still only, I think, 15 or 16. She's still quite young, but pretty strong, pretty fit, and a really brave player, knows no fear, and I think she's got the makings of a really strong rebounding defender for this season at least. McDonald to get the play started in OHA's attacking 23. Good entry into the circle. Gunn spins around, puts it back to the spot. We've seen Brooks in this position before. Tries to get the shot away. Can't. Too much defensive pressure. McCambridge takes an early shot. Vaughan has it covered. Not enough power behind that from Sarah McCambridge to really challenge Vaughan in the net.
OHA really need to score off this pressure and before quarter time if possible. If they feel like if it goes to 0-0 at the break, then Diamondbacks will feel very happy. And the frustration will keep building and building as long as OHA haven't scored.
And you look at some of those key players that Diamondbacks can boast. You've got Philly Ridley, you've got Emily Donovan, and even Georgia Williams up forward. They're all dangerous, so given half a chance inside the circle for Diamondbacks, you would back them in to score. Good work from McLeod. Brooks wide. Again, spins onto a four-stick to try and get that cross. Wins the penalty corner.
There's a lot of last-ditch efforts going on from Diamondbacks at the moment. Maybe first game on, getting used to the speed of the game again after pre-season. Certainly happened in the games last night for a lot of players. It looks like it's happening again now.
Dangerous time for Diamondbacks though. They are giving quite a few circle entries now and penalty corners away. They've been, well, the defence has held up well so far, but you wouldn't want to give too many more chances to OHA.
Maddie Brooks off the top now, so I reckon we could see this going left. Oh, well, I went straight flick. I wasn't expecting that, to be perfectly honest. It's just wide, and now Diamondbacks can counter. This is where they're dangerous.
Smith, good take, good turn. Getting back is Taylor Brooks. Richards trying to get in the way, but
That's
Ridley.
Lucy Cooper.
Oh, Lucy Cooper, sorry. Now Diamondbacks trying to attack down the right-hand side, just not quite connecting. Brooks, overhead. Falls nicely for Gunn, but just a little bit of danger there. Calls the umpire. So we're not too far away from the end of this first quarter. Still 0-0. Diamondbacks have probably ridden their luck a fair bit defensively, but they are a team that is able to wrest momentum in games. So I wouldn't be surprised if, after having soaked up so much pressure, that they will come out in the second quarter and create something probably pretty quickly too.
It looks like it's going to be 0-0 at quarter time. So Diamondbacks, I reckon, will be fairly happy with that. OHA had most of the players, we said, but Cammy Vaughan really kept them in the game. So it looks like a little bit of a personnel change for Diamondbacks, I think. Maddie Clark's gone back to fullback. Josie Short's moved to right half. And I think Cara Gill's moved into midfield. OHA look pretty similar as they did in the first half. Maybe a switch at halfback. Taylor Brooks is now over on the right. Here she is. Nice bit of skill to get around the baseline. Ball pops out, and that's going to be a corner. That was a little bit clumsy from Nicole.
Well, they're playing with fire now. I think this is the fourth or fifth penalty corner of the match. We're only about 16 minutes in. There's only so much you think Cammy Vaughan and her defence are going to be able to handle if they keep giving away penalty corners. And no doubt OHA would have had a really good conversation about the penalty corner battery at quarter time and about making more use of it. So we will see.
I would expect this to go left. I don't think going straight again is an option. Yeah. Good God. Oh.
Yep.
No. Oh, yeah, Nicole's not happy. I'd say that's too high because she's hit it.
Be an interesting call from the umpires.
It's a corner they like to run. I think the umpire's saying she's deflected it, but they're going to have a chat. I would say that that is too high because it's more of a slap, but let's see what the umpires decide.
We saw, look on the replay, it looks like she's deflected it within the spirit of the rules, but it is a bit of a,
See what they say. Goal.
yeah.
Nicole's not happy, but I think I can understand why she's not happy about it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I was an OHA player, I'd expect a goal to be given for that. It's a tough one for the umpire to call. And a really good corner routine from OHA. And it looks like they want more. They're flooding forward at the moment. Julia Gunn wins a free. I'm half expecting a card for the next tackle as well. There's been a few really big blows, and just feel like a few frustrated Diamondbacks players on the field might throw in a bad tackle. It's a good ball.
Another
Really
scramble in the
defending.
circle. Diamondbacks survive that time. Taylor Brooks starting to look very dangerous down that right-hand side. Smart move from the coaching staff to unleash her down that wing. Confirming who was the goal scorer.
I think it was Julia Gunn.
It was
Would have
Julia
been,
Gunn at the end
Yeah.
with the touch. So OHA have a 1-0 lead at the moment, and it felt like it was a long time coming, to be honest.
Yeah, it did.
And
Well, it's a good turnover from Diamondbacks high up the field. Maddie Clark will put it wide, and Josie Short's getting forward now, which is good to see. It's good, really good tackle from Maddie Brooks, though.
it's a bit convoluted logic, but I just wonder whether that goal against them might be a bit of a circuit breaker for Diamondbacks just to relieve some of the pressure, and they will start to attack a bit freer now, knowing that they're chasing the game rather than trying to hold on to it.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially first game of the year, sometimes that first goal for either side can really kick teams on and make them play a little bit with a little bit more freedom, as you say, Scotty. It was a really good tackle from Josie Short again, and I think that should be her ball, yeah. OHA's press has worked really well so far. They've pressed really, really high, not allowed the ball out the other side of the field. And again, they get a turnover really quickly. I thought the umpire didn't see it, but they did see the foot. Maddie Brooks into the circle, look for the foot. Hannah Richards look for the Toma. But Julia Gunn doesn't finish it. And that looked like a foot as well from Maddie Clark, but play on. Oh, that was stick. Yeah. I think the umpire got that one wrong.
Brooks moves it quickly.
Good save.
Madison Brooks with a shot.
Yeah.
Saved by Vaughan. One more penalty corner into the OHA column. And, well, we did speak about quarter time. They would try to change their penalty corner routine. They did. It worked for them. Something similar again, you reckon, Josh?
It could happen again. I expect whoever's right post will probably step out this time. Back to injectors in a corner they like to run. I'd like to see the ball go straight left to someone like Belle Krumick and maybe slap back across the goal, but we'll see what happens.
Brooks beats the first runner. Can't beat the second runner.
It's a good tackle, even if it's a foul there. Stops an easy shot for Maddie Brooks.
Ridley's defensive work was a hallmark of her game last year. She definitely turned from a attacking player into a much more complete midfield player, and we see her playing a key role in the Diamondbacks' defence as second runner.
Belle Krumick's back on the top now.
McLeod might go herself. She uses Krumick out on the right.
Good
work from Ridley again to get out to that. Cleared down the line, only as far as Hannah Richards. But Diamondbacks will have a free hit on the sideline. Stella Bale over the ball. Unfortunately, she's given away to Wilson Haffenden, who has a chance to attack on her own. Too many sticks around. Free hit to OHA just outside the 23, so they can go directly into the circle if they wish. McLeod back to Taylor Brooks, attacking down that right into the circle. Great run around the baseline, tries to slip it back. Jeeves, important interception and tackle. Prevents OHA from getting anything from that attack.
Lots of space on the other side. Oh, the umpire stopped them now, that's frustrating. Lots of space for Ellie McDonald over there, but it's been closed up now.
Dangerous ball from Brooks into the circle, but nothing quite coming of it. Her sister Madison on the opposite side of the pitch will bring it into play. Can't get the cross through Maddie Clark, but Brooks does continue. It's inside the circle. Brooks has continued on a run, fires a shot just over the top. Vaughan happy to see that one go over her helmet and over the bar.
Yeah, I reckon that's one of those, that's kind of those pre-season jitters, or not jitters, but if she keeps getting Thomas like that, they're eventually going to go in. And then she gets more and more throughout the year. She's going to keep sticking them in. It's bread and butter for Maddie Brooks, and she showed it last year in the grand final. It's a really good turnover from McCambridge though. And good save from Cammy Vaughan again. keeping a team in the game, like somebody else on Diamondbacks really needs to step up or encourage the team or do whatever they need to do. It's some sort of game-changing play. This is usually the player that does it. Emily Donovan wins a free.
Well, it's getting serious now because we're well into this second quarter, and the stats are heavily in favour of OHA in terms of attacking 25 play and circle entries, shots on target. Everything is heavily in favour of OHA, and Diamondbacks have really looked like they've struggled to get in front of their half. As Gunn now on the attack into the circle. She's got space to have a shot. Excellent deflection on the left by Dana Chalice, I think it was, for OHA. Yeah. Great save again by Cammy Vaughan.
Lots of space. Oh, Taylor Brooks is getting, and she's got it again. She's getting lots of space on the right-hand side. And that's a corner again off the foot, I think. Yeah. So I think some Diamondbacks need to change something in the way they're defending. Whether it's being a little bit tighter to the halfbacks or just jumping back a little bit quicker, they need to do something different. And I reckon OHA are probably running out of ideas on corners. They've had so many, and they've obviously used that back to the injector with a bit of success, but I reckon this might be a straight one again. Nice bit of skill from Belle Krimick off the little fluff. And it's just gone wide. They're queuing up on the far post though.
I think there was about 3 green tops sitting on the spot waiting for that ball to tap it in. And I'm a little bit concerned for Diamondbacks now. They're lucky that it's only 1-0. But the way this game is heading is they are struggling to get it outside their own half. And as you said, something needs to change. And it doesn't really look likely at the moment. Taylor Brooks is having an absolute field day down that right-hand side as well. She's looking incredibly dangerous. Wilson Hafferton probably dangerous there, and the defender probably has a good case to make, but play on, says the umpire, and they all need to get on with it. McCambridge has space, top of the circle, onto her reverse.
Good tackle.
Fantastic bit of defending there from Emily Donovan.
Good tackle. Oh,
she just corralled her, just kept her outside the circle, and then made the tackle. Brilliant, not to give away a penalty corner too.
It's really good defending again. This is what they need to do better. That's probably a foul, but that's what they need to do better. Their forwards need to work back and help a little bit more. But that's a really good... Oh, she saved it again. She's having a great game. Like, if they get anything out of this game, then Cammy Vaughan... Oh, that's easy shot though for Sarah Cambridge, surely. There you go. Really, really good finish. It did feel like it was coming, that they were going to get an open play goal. Cammy Vaughan has done everything she can, but unfortunately they just haven't picked up key players in the D there.
Tough for the young goalkeeper. She's having an absolute blinder. I think her save count is almost 15. She has made that many saves on the goal line. It's a testament to her that Diamondbacks are only 2-0 down because of the amount of chances OHA have created, but it has an air of inevitability about it, this match. OHA just look that little bit cleaner and far more aggressive in attack. And if they had taken more of their chances, or if not for Cammy Vaughan, they would have been much further ahead. But now it's all for Diamondbacks to do. 2-0 deficit, hard to overcome when the weight of the play is so much against you.
They've got a long corner now on Diamondbacks, and they really need to get something going. I'd like to see someone just take hold of the game, whether it's Philly Bridley or Nicole Jeeves or Emily Donovan, or even one of the younger players. Just like to see someone take hold of the game and say we're going to have a go again. The press from OHA, regardless of where they are on the field, there's always someone straight in the face. Always someone straight in the face of the player on the ball. And this is what they like to do. They don't mind turning the ball over on the other end of the field because it means they can press. And that's how they scored a lot of goals last year.
It does feel a little bit different though to last season. It feels like their press today has been far more aggressive than what it was last year. Like, they are fully committing to it now. Whether that's just because the momentum is in their favour and they're all up and about and committing to it, or whether that was a choice that they've made during pre-season to do this, but it's worked wonders for them at the moment.
I think it's probably a little bit of both, Scotty. There's Belle Krumik's getting forward now, which you don't see very often, but she's round the back on the right-hand side, and she's got another penalty corner.
Brilliant work there from Belle Krumik. Another impressive young player developing nicely. Made the switch a couple of years ago to OHA for more first-team opportunities and walks away with a premiership and now a key role in today's match. And we just saw her, as you said, you don't often see her going forward, but see how good she was in that role and created the penalty corner. Good run, good bit of skill, under a bit of pressure too, and was able to get the circle entry and then just slip it back onto Josie Short's foot. So clever play as well. Shows good match intelligence.
Yes, I'm interested to see if they're going to change up anything here, because they're in such control of the game. Goes back across to Sophie McLeod. It's a really good block again though. Because when you have so many corners in a game like this, it's really difficult to know whether you want to try something out this early in the season or just keep going straight. And at the moment they haven't really, to be honest, even though they're in control of the game, they haven't injected and trapped brilliantly. Everything's been a little bit off. Can Nicole Jeeves get something going? She looks long, but it's just going to go straight off the back line.
So I guess the challenge is to do you use that penalty corner as practice to get it right in the match environment, which you can't really replicate in training, or do you try a few different things because you are getting so many of them and you are in control of the match?
I'm a big advocate of trying to encourage whoever our flicker is or whoever our hitter is to get a bit of rhythm going with that if we get lots of corners. So I always think if you have a good straight hit or a straight flick, then try and encourage that as much as you possibly can. And then at training you can practice that really fancy routine that you need in the clutch when you need a goal. It's maybe not in round one. So OHA coming down the right hand side again. Win a free. Sarah McCambridge takes it very quickly, a little bit too quickly for the umpire. OHA are just buzzing around though. All their players, you can see Maddie Brooks buzzing around the edge of the D, gets a little touch in. And Nicole Jeeves half clears, but again there's an OHA player always first to the ball. Regardless of where it is in the field, I think Belle Krumik wants a free and gets it.
Well, you've got that sweeping defender, which is Belle Krumik at the moment, making the intercept just outside her attacking 23. And I think that speaks to how the game is going at the moment. Really excellent pass. Chalice.
It's nice. It's good defending from Aldebarisford though. Didn't dive in, especially in the game situation. A lot of people were going flying in there and just got eliminated. Anna McDonald on the ball now. Goes down the right again, but couldn't make the trap.
Beresford did, of course, make the switch club. She was playing for OHA last season, played in their premiership, and has switched over to the DiamondBacks. I would hazard a guess as to be closer to a good friend, Phila de Bridley. I don't think there was too many other reasons why she would have left OHA, but she'll probably get more opportunities in the first team at Diamondbacks too. And could really cement a spot in that starting 11.
That's a corner. Oh wow, she's given card. She's given a card. I don't think that's the right decision there. I think you have to give corner first. It's not gone 5. I'm not sure the umpire's... I think generally you have to give a corner first, and then... I mean, she hasn't given both, which I suppose is right, but I always thought it was corner first before card.
Molly McCausland, of course, one of our experienced and talented umpires. So I back her in to make the right call.
I know, Scotty. I'll have an argument with an umpire, you know that.
But Ridley getting a 2-minute sit on the bench for the green card.
I imagine that's a little bit of frustration from Philly. Probably wants to try and get something going. She knows she's a leader in the team and wants to try and motivate her other players to get something going before half-time if they can.
It was a good, honest physical battle between her and Sarah McCambridge, two of the biggest stars of the competition going head-to-head, which is what we like to see.
And this is a position that Diamondbacks haven't been in for pretty much the whole game. Pretty much...
Excellent work from Donovan. She's just had that call against her. That's unlucky.
Georgie Carter says, go away. Very politely,
Thank you very much. Yeah. McDonald now down the right-hand side. Counter-attack for OHA. She has options down the wing too. Goes inboard for Maddie Brooks, but that was probably not quite the right decision.
Really well played from Willow there. And
Donovan uses her sister, Cara Gill, on the right. Looking for an attack. That might sit nicely for Smith if she can get there. It's just out of reach.
I think that, that'll about do it.
Well, the green card just at the end of that second quarter maybe sparked them into a little bit of life, and DiamondBacks just looked okay in those final couple of
I think
plays.
the game will open up as well as the game progresses. In this, obviously, round one, everyone's getting a little bit tired. No one will be fully fit at this point of the season yet. And it happened in both games last night, and it's happened in the games that have been played this morning as well. In the second half, the games have really opened up. There's been a lot of ball carrying, and that probably suits some of the Diamondbacks players to get back into this game. But at the same time, people like Maddie Brooks and Sarah McCambridge are going to like that as well. So we could see a few more goals in this second half, and then I expect it to be a bit more end-to-end. And it's really important they manage them properly, but it was good to see the key players like Savoli Smith and Sam McCambridge really stepping up for OHA as usual. Sam McCambridge scored a tremendous goal in the second half, chipping the ball over the keeper on the volley, which was exactly what we're known for him for. But we're about to get back underway here, and OHA have got a free hit in the middle of the field.
So it's a 2-0 lead to OHA after the first half in round one of the 2021 Premier League season. If you're just joining us, your commentators are me, Scott Edwards, and I've got Joshua Mardell from the Derwent Hockey Club sitting next to me. Emily Donovan making an early attack down the right-hand side, but Belle Krumink, who has been quite influential in that OHA defence today, prevents Donovan's run and can launch an attack from defence using, out on the right, Ellie McDonald.
It's interesting again, Diamondbacks have changed personnel again, so Josie Short's actually moved into midfield and Sophie Krumick's moved back. That looks lifted, so I think Donovan's going to get an opportunity to run here.
I was just going to say McCambridge was following her very closely too, lucky not to get pulled up for that. Smith turns on her 4-stick, good tackle from McDonald. Ridley picks it up.
Lucy Cooper, I think.
Lucy Cooper picks it up.
Good.
I do get those two confused quite often for some reason.
They got similar shoes. That'll be what it is, Scotty. They got similar colour shoes. That's what gets me. So the game is already opening up pretty. Oh, that's a card. I think. Yep. Can't do that. Got to be 5 before you can touch the player. Unfortunately, better off just letting it go. I think in that situation. And as I was saying, the game's already opening up a little bit, seeing a lot of ball carrying down the middle of the field. The OHA will want to manage the game a little bit now in the second half. They don't want an end-to-end game, and I think this is something that maybe they struggled with a bit last year in some of their games. They do have a very young back line, and that's where the likes of Georgie Carter will really have to step up and be a mature player for them and lead them similar to how Jean did last year. But it'll be interesting to see how they go. Another turnover in the middle.
It's a great ball from McLeod. Attacking down the right hand side. OHA looking for an opening, while Diamondbacks are a player down. Intercepted by Ridley at the top of the circle, and she just clears on a reverse.
Evie Dalton gets a touch, which hasn't happened yet this game. Belle Krumik now in the middle. And they look like they're going to be really patient here. Diamondbacks don't want to press because they're a man down. And Georgie Carter brings it up, but it's a turnover, and Diamondbacks are happy just to clear out and maybe wait out this green card. Kill a little bit of time on the clock. And really stretching the game here, OHA. They got 3 really high forwards, and Belle Krumik almost picked out Julia Gunn. She just couldn't get the ball under control. Good pick up from Maddie Clark in the middle. It's a really good ball down the line. Let's see if Cara Gill can get on the end of it. It doesn't quite have the wheels to get there. We're back to 11v11 now. Lucy Cooper back on the field. OHA looking to go down the right again, which they've done pretty much the entire game. But Lucy Cooper intercepts. Looking for Emily Donovan, but doesn't get there. And now Taylor Brooks will come away with it. She's got help with Hannah Richards. I'd be giving the ball to her. She's pretty quick. That's a really good tackle from Emily Donovan. And you feel like maybe Rowan Bridley's given them a bit of a rocket at half-time. Because a few of them are just starting to step up their game a little bit. These two in particular, Philly and Emily Donovan.
Cooper attempting to go down the left-hand side, but she just inadvertently used the reverse of her stick, which of course is not allowed in hockey.
Umpire stop time here. I reckon Donovan said something she didn't want to. Oh, maybe it's the bench. Yeah, I think it's someone has said something on the bench, whether it was Rowan or Bianca or one of the players. I know the umpires are trying to stick down on that, as Maddie Brooks, really good ball through to Julia Gunn, can't quite get there. Nicole Jeeves cleans up, but OHA have it back. Good interception from Maddie Clark there. Ooh. It's a good tackle if she got it, but umpire says no.
So Jeeves over the top of ball on Diamondbacks defensive 23. Not a whole lot of movement up forward, so she used the left half Fernandez. Cooper
tackle.
seeing a lot of the ball. She's held up by McDonald. Just need to string a few more passes together, I think, Diamondbacks. Start to create a bit more forward pressure, which they have done for this second half. We've seen the ball certainly go deeper into the OHA defence than it did all the first half. Option inside is Emily Donovan. Good work from the OHA defence just to slow down that attack, and now a counter-attack is on.
It's been their forwards though. Their forwards turning the ball over consistently. Wilson Hafferton turned it over there and Julia Gunn helping her out. They're just non-stop, their forwards up front. They just keep putting pressure on the back line, and they've actually got another free hit. I don't really know what that was for. I think it was obstruction. And Maddie Brooks goes quickly. Around the back again, back to Julia Gunn, just wide.
We've seen OHA have consistently been able to run that baseline and cut it back. No real success just yet from that play, but it is a little bit telling.
It's a really good ball. Cara Gill's in here. She's got help in the middle of the D. That's a cracking goal. Sophie Shirley on the end of it. And we said they can do this out of absolutely nothing, really. 2 passes, if anything, and they're suddenly back in the game 2-1, and that might give them a bit of momentum.
A little bit of telepathy there between sisters Emily Donovan and Cara Gill. Fantastic pass from Donovan from out of their defensive midfield. Great run from Gill. Just put it onto the spot nicely for Sophie Shirley. Who has her first goal in the Premier League competition. And Diamondbacks, it's 2-1 all of a sudden. And even though you would say most of the players been in favour of OHA, the game is still more than alive.
I think Donovan's on one at the moment. She wants the ball every time Nicole Jeeves has it at the back. She wants the ball, and I think someone needs to just pick her up and man mark her for a few minutes for OHA, whether it's McLeod or McCambridge or Maddie Brooks. Someone needs to take a hit for a couple of minutes and just mark her out of the game. Because the more she has an impact, the more Diamondbacks are going to be involved. Another turnover. Diamondbacks have a little bit of momentum, but it's a free hit against, unfortunately.
Cambridge looks to move it quickly. Krumink overlapping down the right. Plenty of options forward. That's just come off the foot of Smith. OHA will have the free hit inside their 23. Brooks takes it quickly, looks for the entry,
touch.
Falls nicely for Gunn. Vaughan comes out and clears it. Still an open ball, but Diamondbacks win it. Smith on a reverse. Was there any danger in that? The umpire says play on, and a relieving ball down the other end will just roll out. And OHA will take their 15 restart. Carter switches it out to McDonald on the left. Finds McLeod. She's under pressure but does well to get round Smith, and now short. Inside ball is cut off by Bridley. Contest there.
That was a bit of a
Whistle.
swing and stick.
Free hit for Diamondbacks.
And this is what I think Diamondbacks probably should have done in the first half. They didn't have Philly Bridley and Emily Donovan in the same line. They were always playing either one in midfield and one up front. I think they need to play on the same line so they can actually work together a little bit quicker. Oh, it's unlucky. I don't agree with that. It's a good tackle from Josie Short though. And suddenly, Diamondbacks are a little bit more in this game. It's a really good ball again, but not quite picking up from Lucy Cooper.
Cooper's been good too. The second half she's really come alive as part of that group of players that have all stepped up their game after the half-time break. And there's Bridley making an intercept. She's got options in front of her. She gets closed down by the Brooks twins. Manages to beat them both almost. Ball stays in. It's over the baseline.
It's a good
long
battle.
corner though.
Long corner. It's a good battle when those guys go ahead. I know Maddie and Philly train together in the TIS, so there's probably a little bit of
bragging rights.
Pride, yeah, playing for that. That's not 5, so that's straight into the D. I think Krumik's going to look to play quickly here. It's a really good ball. Really good pass from Maddie Brooks. Sophie Krumik manages to clean it up on the second attempt. And now Diamondbacks can go. This is what we were talking about. That's back of the stick. Oh, okay. Play on. This is what we're talking about. The game's really opened up. This didn't happen in the first half. The game is really, really stretched now. And this suits a lot of the players on the field. A lot of the ball carriers.
Diamondbacks have created more circle entries in the last 10 minutes than they did for the entire first half. But the other side of that coin is OHA have been able to create just as many opportunities in the circle. No penalty corners though. I don't think there's been one in this second half. So they have at least addressed that issue and have stopped giving away. And Cammy Vaughan has probably been able to breathe a little easier in that net, not having as much to do in the second half so far.
And now they've got a sideline high up the field now. It was a good turnover from Lucy Cooper.
Do you think it was mostly mental? I can't really see too many major positional changes that they've made that could have changed the way they've approached it.
Yeah, I don't know if mental's the right way to put it. I think it's just sometimes in the first game of the season, some teams just come out really, really hot, and other teams, for whatever reason, don't. Whether they just haven't had that match practice, as Emily Donovan looks to go into the D, but Belle Krumik cleans it up. But I think sometimes teams just come out really, really hot. First 10 minutes of the season, we've seen it happen before, and you can blow teams away really quickly. And I think OHA could have done that in the first half, but they didn't take their chances, and Cammy Vaughan obviously had an incredible first half. Probably look as a look-in for goalkeeper of the year very, very early on, and a few saves of the year already very early on. But I think, especially if Diamondbacks get another goal in this game, OHA will be looking at what they could have done better in the D in the first half, and they're turning the ball over a lot more now. They're not as consistent going forward. Diamondbacks are a little bit higher up the field, and maybe it's just a confidence thing. It might just be they didn't feel confident playing against the team that's beaten them in the grand final last year, even though it was very close. Can really be a psychological edge over the team, but they definitely look like they're better in the second half.
You can see the huge difference it makes, you can see the huge difference field position makes.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, if we've seen OHA now in the first half, a lot of their defensive play was inside their attacking half. Now they're forced to be making those transfers and trying to make those passes from within their own defensive 23, and all of a sudden Diamondbacks are able to make intercepts, are able to make turnovers and create more attacking opportunities rather than the defender passing directly to an attacker inside the circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Becomes a completely different game just based on field position.
OHA got an opportunity to set an attack up here. Maddie Brooks wants to play quickly, but it was outside the 25. She can go straight in here. She does. Julie Gunn gets in front, but doesn't out to corner. Didn't get a touch. It's a tough one to trap. It's always a tough one to trap when it's coming down on the bounce. You don't know whether the ball's spinning.
Just unlucky, bounced up off the body of Beresford. This is OHA's first penalty corner of the second half, and let's see if they've got anything different to try, or whether they stick with another straight.
I'm surprised they've talked for so long there. You'd think that at half time that would have been something they spoke about. I'm surprised they had such a long conversation there. Belle Krumik's not on the top of the circle. Maddie Brooks is. Taylor's on the left post. Goes straight, and they're going all the way back there again. Oh, hits the wrong side of the sideboard.
Good option. I'm sure they found extra space for the injector there, which has been there on every penalty corner so far, and I think that's the first time they've actually gone that deep to the injector.
Yeah.
Almost back to the baseline where they had time. Shot was just a little off target, but that was an option that they used a few times last year from memory to some success. I think, funnily enough, both of these sides had trouble converting attacking penalty corners all through 2020. And OHA seemed to have a lot more success going back to injector than they did going direct.
It surprises me though, as I said in the first half, that you don't try and instill a little bit of confidence in someone like Belle Krumik, letting her have a few hits off the top of the D. Maybe see if she can get a bit more confidence with that. She's only had one, I think, maybe two, and I think both have been slightly mistrapped and haven't been perfect. So it's interesting that they've gone away from that so quickly.
I've got a feeling that there is a deliberate choice.
I think Willa is running this up because of the clock. Yeah, I'd like to think. Otherwise, she's going in the wrong direction.
I think there is a deliberate choice in that penalty corner for OHA at the moment from the coaching staff, because they have lost Jean Flanagan, who was their main straight hit option, and she had some success as that option. Number of great goals from the top of the battery. They also do have Sophie McLeod out on the pitch, who is also a very good penalty corner flicker and has had a great deal of success from the top of the penalty corner battery. Haven't gone to her at all in this game, so I think there is a deliberate choice, maybe just for this first game, or maybe for the early part of the season, to see what some of these younger players like Belle Krumik and Madison Brooks have from the top of the battery. Just might be a natural.
I think more people are putting a lot more focus on the one running side of things now as well. So we did in our Diamond men's team last year. That's something we had a massive focus on, is trying to cut down the amount of goal you can actually shoot at with a good bit of one running. And Lyndon McCarthy did a great job last year running down a lot of balls. I think he might have broken a toe in the process, but we're back underway in the final quarter here. It's a 1-goal game, and as long as it stays a 1-goal game, Diamondbacks will feel like they can get something out of it. And while they've only had one shot on goal, they only need to have another one to be back in the game. And Maddie Brooks has found loads of room on the right again, though. Really good tackle from Maddie Clark and cleared by Fernandez. OHA can't panic here. They're in control of the game. They don't want to panic. You can win the game 2-1 and be fine. You don't have to win the game 6-7-1. It's a nice ball from Krumik, and Brooks across the goal. Really good touch from Beresford just to guide it clear. Again, put into the middle of the D, and Diamondbacks get a little bit lucky there. Fernandez did a good job. You've seen Maddie Clark move back to the fullback position in the second half. She's done a really good job, actually. She's one of the younger players coming out of the north of the state.
Yeah, normally plays for West Devonport up in the GNL. It will be interesting to see whether she's just here to play the first 3 rounds or so before the GNL starts back up, or whether she's going to play
I think she, off the top of my head, I think she wants to play more down here. Because obviously I think the standard here, I don't know a huge amount about it, the GNL, but the standard here is a little bit better. So I think she wants a little bit more exposure with those stronger players. Lauren Smith does a really good job to win the free, but she's got to take it from the right spot, unfortunately. And we're seeing more players do that. I think as the Premier League grows a little bit more, Georgie Carter does a good job initially to block it, and OHA will clear. Money Brooks, Tom was up the line, but it's cleaned up by Beresford, and she wins a free as well. Haven't seen a huge amount of Sarah McCambridge, especially in the second half. Probably needs to get a little bit more involved in the game. And here's someone we've seen a lot of, Emily Donovan. Corner, really good skills. Lovely drag. Commits the defender, I think it was Georgie Carter, diving in. Not a huge amount she could do, it was just a really good drag from Donovan.
Fantastic work first to create the turnover. Nice little bit of interplay then with Lauren Smith, and then was brought down earning the penalty corner, but you could tell the way she was moving that if she'd got past that defender she would have been straight into the circle. Interesting, about 12 minutes left in this match altogether. It's still 2-1. We saw OHA completely dominate the first half. The second half has been much more even. Diamondbacks almost, you would say, have the ascendancy. If they can make something from this penalty corner, Jeeves to take the first strike. Good save by Dalton on the
really
spot.
Good save.
Donovan was looking for the rebound.
It's good. It's good defending from McLeod as well to make sure Donovan couldn't get a quick rebound, a clean rebound in there.
But this game does feel, or where it felt like it was a foregone, inevitable OHA win in the first half, I'd be very wary of calling a winner at the moment.
Willow. It's a little bit of dissent there, I think. Just as I was saying, she was having a huge effect on the game. She's now got to sit down for 2 minutes. So this is where OHA might be able to take advantage. They can kill 2 minutes on the clock and maybe get a few easy de-entries. It's a really good step from Philly though.
Good pass to Smith. Smith has space now down the right-hand side.
Ooh.
McLeod comes in hot.
Yeah, corner.
And a penalty corner. Big call from the umpire.
I mean, it's
possibly for deliberately over the back line.
Yeah, I think she is. So they're being strict on this year as well. If your intent is to go straight over the back line, even if you don't, not necessarily mean to, but if your direction, if you're going towards the back line and you make the tackle, generally they're going to give it. We'll see what they do here. They went straight on the last corner. Nicole Jeeves is always a good option straight. She's got a lovely strike of the ball. Be interesting to see. They don't have Donovan on, and she's usually an option on the left. So I would imagine they'll go straight again. Comes out a little skewy. Ridley, good save from Dalton. And it's a little scrappy in the middle of the D, but Krumik manages to get it clear. Now OHA might be able to counter. It's a really good ball. Going to go all the way through. And 16.
So Brooks with the long clearance. Joan will take a 15-metre restart. Couple of options there, couple of opportunities there for Diamondbacks to get this game back to level. OHA penalty corner defence is held up. Dalton being called on. Made a couple of nice saves, relatively straightforward. I don't think she's been too challenged, but she's definitely had more involvement in the game in this second half than she did in the first. But I think at the end of the day, both teams are now going to rue their penalty corner attack.
Absolutely, and it's what we spoke about earlier. Is it's really important if you can have a good one set routine penalty corner. It can have a real impact on your game, especially in the key moments of the game. Diamondbacks finally it's really the first time they've managed to go from one side of the field to the other. Lauren Smith looks like she might have won it back. She's been really impressive today. And she's got a free. I've been really impressed with her today. Probably not someone that OHA would pick to have a massive effect on the game, but she's really worked hard up front.
Her second half has been very impressive.
Oh, and that looked like it come off.
Got a bit of danger.
Yeah.
Smith's someone who very good inside the circle. It's definitely a goal scoring option if they can get the ball to her. I've been impressed though today's her work outside the attacking 23 and her work inside the final third. She's made a number of really solid attacking runs. Free hit to Diamondbacks just outside the circle, Bridley over the top.
Donovan's back on the field now as well, so they're back to 11. This could go straight in, I think. Yep, little lifted ball in, but it's just going to be a long corner. Oh, who's that for?
Georgia Williams.
I imagine that was descent again. I'm surprised that... Is that both of them? Taylor Brooks is running off as well.
I think there's a substitution on at the same time, but
no, Taylor...
looks like Taylor Brooks
and
has
been carded as well.
Georgia Williams. A little bit of byplay between the two of them, and the umpires split the difference and sent them both off.
That's fair enough. I always think it's... If two players are doing it and one player gets sent off, it's always a little harsh. I think you might as well just send both of them off. So there's going to be even more room on the field now. That's a foul.
Well, we saw... I mean, there wasn't much in it. It was just a little bit of poking between the two of them, and they've both been sent off. But
yeah.
Green card, 2 minutes. That's what it's there for. Is those type of things.
I don't know if something was said as well.
Possibly.
We can't hear from up here, but oh, that's high. Let's play on. Oh, yeah. I was going to say I'm probably getting that one wrong.
Not too long to go now for the final whistle. We've got another 5 or 6 minutes to go. Final push from both sides. Now, looking to get the win. OHA hoping to hold on to this 2-1 lead or extend it. Diamondbacks still chasing the match. But you'd have to say that really momentum is 50-50, if not maybe slightly in favour of Diamondbacks at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're just having more territory, more ball, more de-entries. Even if they're not clean, they're getting the ball in dangerous positions, and they're getting the ball to their dangerous players in those positions as well. Josie Short looks to go to the other side of the field, but Hannah Richards will pick it up, and this is where she likes to play out wide so she can use her speed. Well played.
Good work from Jeeves. She got space in front of her. She can get a pass away. That's
ball.
A wonderful pass. Lauren Smith into the circle, tries to turn on a 4-stick, double teamed from Ellie McDonald and Georgie Carter.
Nothing there apparently.
Doesn't give away a foul, and OHA can bring it away. A little bit of space in the midfield if McCambridge can beat Short. Short does well just to hold her up.
Defending. It's a foul, but Sarah will look to go quickly now, and this is an opportunity. Maddie Brooks is open. This should be a goal. Yeah.
And well worked. McCambridge took the initiative, played on quickly, despite the good efforts from Josie Short. Early and accurate pass into the circle, into the running Madison Brooks, and she's finished with aplomb into the bottom corner.
Really good finish. And they'll be pleased with that now. It gives them a little bit of breathing room. But that's what we spoke about at half-time as well. The game really opened up. It was really back and forward there. Diamondbacks could have easily had a corner or a goal. And then clearance from Georgie Carter and right down the other end, good finish from Maddie Brooks.
So Jeeves finds Donovan on the left. She's got a little bit of space to work into.
People in the middle.
Williams ghosting into the spot. Donovan continues her attack down the left. Gets taken down. The umpire says you'll just have a free hit just outside the dotted 5. Donovan probably want to play on quickly from here. Try and have a bit of a run herself. It's well tackled by Brooks. A little bit of an distraction, and OHA survive. McDonald on the right. Good little triangle play. Back into the middle, running through just outside of the reach of gun. She does win it back from Jeeves. She's got an option on the right. Brooks had to dive to get even close to it.
A yellow card.
The umpire has pulled out a yellow card for Nicole Jeeves, I believe.
Oh, that's very harsh there. I think Nicole's saying, what about the one down the other end on Donovan? I kind of understand that. I don't mind a little bit of physicality to the game. I don't think Nicole did anything really there. That's an unusual one, but she's got to sit on the bench for probably the rest of the game, I would imagine.
I think that will take us to the final whistle, which is going to leave Diamondbacks vulnerable because Jeeves is, or remains, pretty much their key central defensive player.
Looks like Georgia Williams has gone back to fill in that role. So, it's a risky pass. It's picked off by OHA. It's a great diving effort from Emily Donovan, but here's McCambridge. Oh, sticks flying around the D there. I don't really know what happened, but Cammy Ball manages to clear.
So a long corner for OHA. Taylor Brooks is over the top of it. The entirety of the Diamondbacks side is in their defensive 23. Try and defend this. They are a player down, of course. And Brooks, well, not the greatest restart we've seen, but Maddie Brooks on the attack, well defended from Diamondbacks initially. To make a clearance, but OHA will get it back. Just inside their attacking half on the sideline. McDonald over the top of it. McLeod. Back to McDonald. Into the 23. Well held up by Donovan. Donovan on the counter. Continues down the left-hand side. Wins a free hit. Takes it early. Richards with the intercept. A little bit scrappy in the midfield. Let's see if anyone can come out of this with a clean possession. It's OHA in the end. McDonald down the right-hand side. Brooks just out of her reach. Time running out now for Diamondbacks. OHA hold a 3-1 lead. Opening match of the season and a grand final replay. OHA, of course, famously won the grand final 1-0 last season. Williams, we've just seen attempt the overhead and it's fallen into the crowd. One-handed catch.
Couldn't see how that was, but it was a good catch. The rain's really coming down now as well, so the men's game after this might be affected by a little bit by the weather. We managed to get a little bit lucky for this game. OHA look really comfortable now. I wouldn't be pushing forward too high. I'll be happy with a 3-1 win, but they will probably look to try and get more goals.
And just touching on the weather, the radar does show quite a fair bit of rain in the area, but it may just pass over us. We are just on the edge of most of it, so we might get a little bit, but it might just pass quickly, hopefully.
Can't see any blue sky, Scotty, so I'll take your word for that one. It's really coming down now. This is where you don't want to be on the field. Especially if you're 3-1 down with a couple of minutes to go. It doesn't feel great. Maddie Brooks wins a free on the edge of the D and goes quickly. Oh, it's a good opportunity. That's her bread and butter there. Quick free hit on the edge. Try and get a quick shot off. He's bucketing it down at the moment. Feel right at home. Feel like I'm back in the UK. Good lord, this is
a little bit of wind with it too.
Andy Clark under a bit of pressure. Does well to get rid of it. Cooper will
turns. Cambridge tackling back. Will recycle the ball using Carter.
It's going to be really difficult to play in, regardless of how long you're playing in it. It can be really, really hard to play in conditions like this. The ball doesn't like to move around. It's hard to run against the wind as well, which is sometimes a hard thing. And then even just looking down the other end of the field with the rain and the wind, it can be hard to pick up where the ball is, where players are.
Donovan battles nicely through the midfield.
And
OHA defence holds up just outside their circle.
Hit. Diamondbacks have done really well to get back into this game though as well. Hasn't been the prettiest. Oh, it's a good opportunity in the D. It's cleared away by Sophie McLeod. They've done really well to get back into the game in the second half. They didn't look anywhere near this good in the first half. So we'll definitely be happy with their performance, at least in the second half.
At the end of the day, you probably don't get too disappointed because it is just the opening match of the season, but it is a 3-1 win for OHA. And that will just set up their season nicely. Plenty to work with from that match and plenty to work on from that match. But you'll take 3 points.
Yeah. OHA will be very happy with that result. And I don't know who the two teams play next week. I think DiamondBacks have Derwent, which will be a really good matchup to see how that young group goes. I think OHA have Uni